UGC-NET लॉ क्वेश्चन पेपर ऑफ सितंबर 2020. टाइम 2 hours, मैक्सिमम मार्क्स 200, नंबर ऑफ क्वेश्चन 100. फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन नंबर 1. मैच list 1 with list 2. A special provision with respect to the state of Manipur. It is written on Article 371C. A special provision in respect of state of Karnataka, 371J, Karnataka J, and Sikkim. A special provision with respect to state of Sikkim, Article 371F. A special provision with respect to a state of Mizoram, it is G. तो मणिपुर MC, मणिपुर 371C and Karnataka KJ 371J and Sikkim SF Sikkim and 371F or 371G Mizoram, MG Mizoram. Next question number 2. The main purpose of corporation sole is maintain continuity of an office. Corporation, what is corporation sole? Is an incorporated series of successive person. Third question. Which of the following statement describe the relationship between law and morality among non-positive legal theorists? And the answer is the law is inextricably bound up with morals. Next question number 4. An officer of the Court of Justice being ordered by that court to arrest Y, and after due inquiry believing Z to be Y, arrest Z. A has committed no offense. Now question number 5. Arrange the following in chronicle order section wise as stated in the Motor Vehicle Act 1988. So procedure and powers of claim tribunal, it is written on section 169. Award of claim tribunal 168, claim tribunal 165, application of compensation section 166. Next question number 6. A bigamous Hindu marriage is void and punishable under section 495 of IPC. This offence is non-cognizable and bailable offence. Punishment may extend up to 7 years. Question number 7. Arrange chronologically the following cases decided by the Supreme Court year-wise. Ogla Tellis versus Bombay Municipal Corporation decided in 1985. Francis Carly versus Union Territory of Delhi, it is decided in 1981. Satwant Singh versus Assistant Passport Officer decided in 1967. Kharak Singh versus State of UP 1962. National Legal Service Authority versus Union of India 2014. Question number 8. In which of the following cases the minimal creativity test was laid down? It is laid down in Eastern Book Company versus D.B. Modak. Now come to the question number 9. What is a whistleblower? A person who signals illegal or unethical practice to the prescribed body. Question number 10. By which amendment the third and fourth schedule of the IT Act were omitted? It is omitted by Act 10 of 2009. Which of the following conditions are essential for the custom to be valid? There are 3 conditions. A. The custom has to possess a sufficient measure of antiquity. The custom must have been enjoyed as a right, and the custom must be certain and precise. Question number 12. Arrange in chronological order the case relating to U.S. constitutional amendments. Plessy versus Ferguson, 1896. Hawke versus Smith, 1920. Laser versus Garnett, 1922. US versus Sprague, 1931. Now come to the question number 13. List 1, List 2, Provision and Section of Copyright, 1997. Performer, Section 2, QQ. Performance right, Section 38. Performance in Section 38B, and moral right of performer, Section 2Q. Question number 14. Given below are two statements. One is labeled as assertion and other is labeled as a reason. Assertion: once a performer consents to the incorporation of his performance in a cinematograph film by a written agreement, she will not object to the enjoyment of the performance right by the producer in the same film. And reason: the performer is entitled to royalties in case of producer of the film makes use of the performance of commercial use. In light of the above statement, choose the most appropriate answer from the option given below. Both A and R is correct, but R is not the correct explanation of A. Question number 15. Chronologically arrange the following judgments of the Supreme Court of India on Uniform Civil Code. Daniel Latifi versus Union of India, 2001. John Balmatron versus Union of India, 2003. Sarla Mudgal versus Union of India, 1995. Muhammad Ahmad Khan versus Shah Bano Begum, 1985. Question number 16. List 1, List 2, Provision. Section under the Muslim Women Protection of Rights on Marriage Act, 2019. Punishment for pronouncing talaq. Section 4. Offences to be cognizable, compoundable, etc. Section 7. Custody of minor children. Section 6. Talaq to be void and illegal. Section 3. Question number 17. In a parliamentary form of the government, the British Convention of Ministerial Responsibility has been explicitly codified in the Indian Constitution under Article 75(3). List 1, List 2, Provision under Indian Penal Code and Section. An act done in the good faith for benefit of the person without consent. Section 92. Dishonest or fraudulent execution of a deed of transfer containing false statement of consideration. Section 423. Voluntary causing grievous hurt, use of acid, etc. Section 326A. Theft by clerk or servant of property in possession of master. Section 381. Now question number 19. National Commission of Minority was established under which of the following provisions? It is in provision section 3 of the National Commission of Minority Act 1992. Under section 361 of Indian Penal Code, the kidnapping from lawful guardianship is A. when someone take or entices any minor without the consent of the guardian, and B. when someone takes or entices any person of unsound mind out of the keeping the lawful guardianship without the consent of the guardian. When someone entices or takes away any minor under 16 year of age if male and 18 year of age if female without the consent of guardian A, B and C. All are kidnapping from lawful guardianship. Question number 21. Where does vicarious liability generally arise from? It is arise from a contract of service. A is correct, and D, a wrongful act of the servant. 22. When two motorists coming from opposite direction in their car collides with each other and in the process they injure seriously a person who was standing on the roadside, the two motorists are independent tortfeasors. Section 21, Section 376 DB of Indian Penal Code provides for punishment for gang rape of a woman under 12 years of age. Section 24 arrange the initiative on climate change in chronological order. First, Vienna Convention on Climate Change. Second, Montreal Protocol on Climate Change. Third, Kyoto Protocol on Climate Change. Smith on Climate Change. And Durban Conference of Climate Change. Which of the following chapters of the United Nations chapter deal with Pacific settlement of dispute? Chapter 6. Which of the following is the mandatory minimum requirement of the functional federation? It is third. Distribution of legislative and administrative power between the two sets of government, national and state, so as to ensure the independence of the government within their respective spheres. Question number 27. Frustration of contract occur in two conditions. Firstly, where the contract has become physically impossible, and secondly, where the object has failed. The above was laid down in the case of Carroll versus Henry. First, given below are two statements, one of labeled as the assertion and other is labeled as the reason. Assertion: whoever assaults or uses criminal force on any person in attempting to commit theft or attempting to commit theft on any property which that person is then wearing or carrying shall be punished with imprisonment of either description for a term which may extend to 2 years, or with fine, or with both. Reason: Section 356 of IPC provides for punishment of the imprisonment of either description for a terms which may extend to 2 years, or with fine, or with both if a person assaults or uses criminal force on any person in attempting to commit theft or any property which that person is then bearing or carrying. Answer is both A and R is correct. R is the correct explanation of A. 29. Given below are two statements. One is labeled as assertion and other is labeled as reason. Assertion A. The Parliament has the power to make the law for whole or any part of the territory of India, and law made by the Parliament would be applicable beyond the territory of India also. Reason: Article 245 Clause 1 of the Constitution of India empowers the Parliament to make law for the whole or any part of the territory of India, and Article 245 Clause 2 says that no law made by the Parliament shall be deemed to be invalid on the ground that it would have the extrajudicial operation. Both A and R is correct. R is the correct explanation of A. 30. Question number 30. The movement of the progressive society has heretofore been a movement from status to contract. The statement has made by Maine. Which of the following duty have been included by Austin in the category of absolute duty? Duty owed to persons indefinitely. B. Self-regarding duty. Duty owned by the sovereign. Threatening to commit certain act forbidden by Indian Penal Code. To introduce a person to enter into a contract is associated with coercion. Option number 2. The responsibility of Economic and Social Council regarding improvement and protection of human rights is laid down under which article of UN Charter? Article 68. Question number 34. The word international law was used for the first time by which of the following eminent jurists? It is used by Zamni Bentham. Section 102 of Indian Penal Code deals with the provision relating to commencement and continuance of the right of private defense of a body. Question number 36. Which of the following are the exceptions of the specific enforcement rule of the theory of remedial liability? Imperfect duty, duty that are impossible for a specific performance, duty which are inexpedient to enforce especially. Question number 37. And offer cannot be accepted unless it was brought to the knowledge of a person to whom it is made. This was laid down in the case of Lalman Shukla versus Gauridat. Question 38. Give a chronological order year-wise in these decided cases. Best Rand Central Gold Mining Company Limited versus R 1905. Portugal versus India 1960. Burkina Faso versus Mali 1983. Mabro Matisse Palestine concessions case 1923 to 30. Giorgio factory case 1927. The legally binding limit to carbon emission was laid down in Durban Conference of Climate Change 2009. The provision regarding selling minors for purpose of prostitution etc. is given in Indian Penal Code under section 372. First option. 41. The chairperson of the National Human Rights Commission shall be Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. Given below are true statement. One is labeled as assertion and reason. Assertion: according to Article 7 of the United Nations Charter, the International Court of Justice is one of the principal organs of the United Nations. Reason: the International Court of Justice consists of 15 judges who are elected by the Security Council. So A is true and R is false. Which of the following is not a feature of Mitakshara co-passionary? So what is the features? Unobstructed heritage, unpredictable and fluctuating interest, community of interest and unity of possessions, and not feature abstract heritage. Question number 44. In which case the Supreme Court held that the preamble does not part of the Constitution? Keshwanand Bharti versus State of Kerala. Match list 1 and list 2. List 1 provision and article of the statute of the International Court of Justice. Law applied by the International Court of Justice, Article 38. Court powers to allow a state to intervene in a case to which it is not a party. Article 62. Jurisdiction of the International Court of Justice. Article 36. Interim measures or relief by a International Court of Justice. Article 41. Question number 46. Under Article 30 of Indian Constitution, the right of minority is guaranteed as under B. The right is guaranteed for the linguistic and religious minority. D. Right is given to minority to establish and administer the educational institution. The state is prohibited from making discrimination in the matter of grant of aid to any educational institution on the ground that it is managed by the religious minority or linguistic minority. Match list 1, list 2. Murli S. Deora vs. Union of India, ban on smoking in public places. Sunil Batra vs. Delhi administration, protection against inhuman treatment in jail. Hussain Ara Khatun vs. State of Bihar. Speedy trial in the integral part of the speedy trial is an integral part of the fundamental right under Article 21 of Indian Constitution. Rural litigation and entitlement. Kendra vs. State of UP, protection of ecology and environmental pollution. Question 48. Arrange the chronological order of the publication of book on jurisprudence. Province of jurisprudence determined by Austin 1832. Concept of law by H.L.A. Hart 1961. The province on function of law by Julius Stone 1946. Nature on judicial process by Benjamin N. Cardozo 1958. Anatomy of law by Lon L. Fuller 1968. The Commission on Sustainable Development was established in year 1992. In which of the following case the rule that there is no distinction between de facto and de jure recognition for the purpose of giving effect to the internal act of the recognized authority was not applied. Bank of China versus Bell Fargo Bank and Union Trust. Given below are two statements. One is level assertion. If the adoption of a son, the adoptive Hindu father or mother by whom the adoption is made must not have a Hindu son, son's son or son's son, whether by legitimate blood relationship or by adoption living at the time of adoption. Reason section 11(1) of the Hindu Adoption and Maintenance Act 1956, which deals with the right of adoptive parents under other condition for a valid adoption, imposes this restriction. Both A and R correct. R is correct explanation of A. Next question 52. Which of the following is not the ancient source of Hindu law? This is precedent and ancient source Smriti, Digest and Shruti. The maximum solus populi suprema lex means welfare of people in welfare of people is supreme law. Arrange the theory of intellectual property in order of prominence and influence. This is utilization theory, second labor theory, third social planning theory, third personality theory, and fourth social planning theory. Which of the following is not correct? So B and D are not correct. Correct is in the Hague Conference of 1930, a convention on the conflict of nationality law was signed and adopted. And C, on 7th November 1967, the General Assembly of UN adopted the Declaration of Elimination of Discrimination against Women. According to whom it is law of tort and not law of torts. This is Benfield. Match list 1, list 2. Definition of permanent lok adalat written in section 22A. Establishment of permanent lok adalat section 22B. And cognizance by permanent lok adalat section 22C. And award of lok adalat section 22E. 58. Question 58. A company can convert into limited liability partnership A, B, C, D all by complying to requirement of a third schedule of Limited Liability Partnership Act 2008. It can convert if there is no security interest is in its assets subsisting at the time of applications. C. Partners of the limited liability partnership are the erstwhile shareholder of the company and no one else. D. All the assets, interest, right and privilege of the company are transferred to the firm. 59. Question 59. Which of the following provisions of the Statute of International Court of Justice lists general provision of law recognized by civilized state as a third source of international law? Para 1C of Article 38. Question 60. Under Section 5 of the Sale of Goods Act 1930, a contract for the sale can be made by word of mouth, by writing, or partly in writing and partly in word of mouth. B and D are correct. Which of the following is not a condition precedent for the valid adoption under the Hindu Adoption and Maintenance Act? So, condition A and B, a adopter must have the capacity and right to take a adoption. B, a child must be eligible for adoption. C and D are incorrect. That is C. The giver must have the capacity and right to give the adoptions. D, data, human is mandatory. C and D are incorrect. 62. The provision relating the offence against the public tranquility are as follow. Whoever, being aware of fact which render any assembly an unlawful assembly, intentionally joins that assembly or continue in it, is said to be in the member of unlawful assembly. B. When two or more persons by fighting in the public place disturb the public peace, they are said to commit the affray. D. Whoever commits an affray shall be punished with the imprisonment of either description for the term which may extend to 1 month, or with fine which may extend to 100 rupees, or with both. Section 63. The provision relating to drinking water is contained under which schedule of the Constitution of India 1950? It is written in Schedule 11. Article 72 of Indian Constitution makes a provisions for power of President to grant pardon, etc., and to suspend, remit, or commute sentences in certain cases. 65. In a presidential form of government, the chief executive is relatively free from sectional or party disputes. The chief executive is free to choose his team of ministers from the best available. It discourages the disease of defection. Question 66. In which case, in respect of natural justice, Lord Denning said that with a good man in the saddle, the unruly horse can be kept under control. It can jump over obstacles. It can leap fences put up by fictions and come down on the other side of justice. In Derby, Town Football Club Limited versus Football Association Limited. Section 67. Rules relating to subpoena relations are based on the principle of option 4, exogamy. The question 68. The provisions given under Article 13 of the Indian Constitution are all follows: A, B, and C. A. All law in force in the territory of India immediately before commencement of the Constitution will be void to the extent of the inconsistency. B. Law in force includes all law passed or made by the legislature or other competent authority in the territory of India before the commencement of this Constitution and not previously repeated. The state shall not make state shall not make any law which takes or abridges right conferred by Article 3 and Part 3, and any law made in the contravention shall be void. The question 69. The provision relating to solid waste management is contained under which schedule of the Constitution of India? Schedule 12. Question 70. A tort is a civil wrong for which the remedy is an action for damages and which is not exclusively breach of contract or breach of trust or breach of merely equitable obligation. The above definition was given by Salmond. List 1 and List 2. Jurisdiction. Section under Consumer Protection Act 1986. Jurisdiction of the District Forum, Section 11. Jurisdiction of the State Commission, Section 17. Jurisdiction of the National Commission, Section 21. Power to set aside ex parte order, Section 22A. Question 72. The quantum of punishment given under Indian Penal Code are: whoever commits extortion shall be punished with imprisonment of either description for the term which may extend to 3 years or with fine or with both. Correct, and C is correct. Whoever dishonestly misappropriates or converts to his own use any movable property shall be punished with imprisonment of either description for a term which may extend to 2 years or with fine or with both. Question 73. Under the Muslim Women Protection Rights or Divorce Act 1986, a divorced woman shall be entitled for a reasonable, A is correct, a reasonable and fair provisions and maintenance to be made and paid to her within the iddat period by her former husband, and E is correct, an amount equal to the sum of meher or dower agreed to be paid to her at the time of marriage or any time thereafter according to Muslim law. Question number 72. Arrange the provision of the Indian Partnership Act 1932 in chronological order. Partnership at Bill Section 7. Mode of determining the existence of the partnership, Section 6. Property of the firm, Section 14. Duty of the partner written in Section 9. Question 75. In which case the Supreme Court held that pardoning power of the President under Article 72 and governors under Article 161 is subject to judicial review. Answer is third. E. Puri Sudhakar versus State of Andhra Pradesh. Question 76. Read the statement about rule of law. A, B, C is correct. A. Rule of law is an important and fundamental pillar of a liberal and substantive democracy. B. The rule of law is not merely public order. The rule of law is social justice based on the public order. And C. The substantive rule of law is the rule of proper law which balances the needs of society and the individual. Question 77. The provision relating to the legal recognition of electronic signature is contained under which section of IT Act 2000? Answer is Section 5. Which of the following are correct? Correct statement. Doctrine of B is correct. The doctrine of priority of consideration is not applicable in India. And C. The rule of priority of contract is applicable in India. 79. Question of 79. Provision section under the National Green Tribunal Act 2010. Hazardous substance is written in section 2F. Environment section 2C. Handling section 2A, section 2E, and accident section 2A. Question 80. Arrange the provisions of Indian Penal Code in chronological order section wise. House trespass. A. House trespass in order to commit an offence punishable with imprisonment for life. It is written in section 450. House trespass. B. House trespass in order to commit an offence punishable with death. Section 449. C. Lurking house trespass or house breaking in order to commit an offence punishable with imprisonment. Section 454. D. House trespass in order to commit an offence punishable with imprisonment. Section 451. Lurking house trespass or house breaking by night in order to commit an offence punishable with imprisonment. Section 457. 81. Question number 81. When the biological resources Biological resources are assessed for the commercial utilization, or the biosurvey or bioutilization lead to commercial utilization. The applicant shall have the option to pay the benefit sharing ranging from 0.1 to 0.5. Question number 82. The real relation of jurisprudence to law depends not upon what law is treated, but how law is treated, is said by option 2 Gray. Question 83. A party who suffers loss as a result of a breach of contract can in the usual course claim ordinary damages. Question 84. Under Article 14 of the Indian Constitution, the term equal protection of the law has been taken from the American Constitution. List 1, List 2. List 1 is terms and List 2 section of Company Act 2013. Abridged prospectus section 21. Deemed prospectus section 25. Self prospectus section 31. Red herring prospectus section 32. Question 86. By which amendment of IT Act 2000 the third and fourth schedule were omitted? A. Option A is correct. Article 10 of 2009. 87. The provision regarding legislation for giving effect to international agreement is given in the Indian Constitution under Article 253. Which of the following statements are correct? Correct statement are B and C. What is B? The New World Trade WTO, which came into effect on 1st January 1995, replaced the General Agreement and Tariff and Trade. Replaced the GATT. GATT. C. The function of WTO are mentioned in Article 3 of the agreement establishing WTO. Question number 89. A person may be liable in respect of wrongful act or omission of others in which the following way: A. As having ratified and authorized the particular act. B. By standing towards the other person in a relation entailing responsibility for wrongs done by that person. C. As having abetted and tortious act committed by others. A, B, C, all are correct. 90. Any agreement in respect of production, supply, distribution, storage, acquisition, or control of goods or provision of service which causes or is likely to cause any appreciable adverse effect on competition in India is void. These agreements include tie-in agreement, exclusive supply agreement, exclusive distribution agreement, refusal to deal, real sale price maintenance. Discrimination on the basis of sexual orientation is violative of which of the following fundamental right? Article 14, 15, 19, 21. Read the passage below carefully and answer the question that follows. The right to live with dignity has been recognized as a human right on the international front and by the number of president of this court, and therefore the constitutional court must strive to protect the dignity of every individual, for without the right of dignity every other right would be rendered meaningless. Dignity is an now directly we will come to the question. The fundamental right of the freedom of expression is contained in the following article of the Indian Constitution, Article 19(1)(a). Article question 93. The above paragraph reflects the judgment in case of Neeraj Singh Johar versus Union of India. Now I will read the paragraph. The right to live with dignity has been recognized human right international front and by the number of precedent of the court, and therefore the constitutional court must strive to protect and dignity of every individual, for without the right of dignity every other right would be rendered meaningless. Dignity is an inseparable facet of every individual that invites. This is written in the judgment of Neeraj Singh Johar versus Union of India. Now come to the question number 94. The consensual sex act of an adult is criminalized under which of the following legislation? Indian Penal Code. 95. Which of the following judges bear the part of judgment referred in paragraph? J. Deepak Mishra. So what is the case? 95. The right to live with the dignity has been recognized as a human right and intellectual front by the member of precedent in the court. Now question number the term parent partia refer to parents of his, her own country or state. Hindu idol is the juristic entity capable of holding property. UGC-NET लॉ क्वेश्चन पेपर ऑफ सितंबर 2020. टाइम 2 hours, मैक्सिमम मार्क्स 200, नंबर ऑफ क्वेश्चन 100. फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन नंबर 1. मैच लिस्ट 1 with list 2. A special provision with respect to the state of Manipur. It is written on Article 371C. A special provision in respect of state of Karnataka. 371J. Karnataka J.